Hello, I am Sock Puppet Kingdom, and this is my AGDQ submission video for the Blob. Now, this game was originally a 2008 Wii exclusive, but in 2017 it was remastered for PC and current-gen consoles, which is the version I will be running. Time starts here. So, I am the former world record holder for this game, and as of currently, I am second place on the Any Percent leaderboards. The casual playthrough for this game usually just involves painting the environment and doing various missions throughout the game's 10 levels. The Any Percent route is a little bit different from that. It has more to do with points, which are displayed in the top right corner of the screen. And the Any Percent route involves getting the minimum amount of points required to unlock the exit of the level and then just going to that exit. And this is done mainly using the game's combo system, but also by accepting missions. So here's an example of a combo. This level goes by pretty fast, so I won't really be able to explain everything going on here, but I will try my best. And this is the only mission that we do in this particular level. We just paint this group of buildings orange, and then we talk to this character named Artie, who will tell me they already completed her mission. So now, I'm going to slam into this thing called a transform engine. Now, transform engines, they give you points, and they also paint the environment around you. The cutscene that happens after you slam a transform engine pauses the in-game timer, which means that they are basically free unless they're out of the way of the route. So now on to the next area. So the second area is pretty much all combos, so I'll get to explain to you how the wall combo system works here. So, as you can see, the multiplier maxes out at ×8. And I got a really good wall combo there. Alright, that was great. And buildings with doors give you double the points. So, it is recommended to save those for when your multiplier is at ×8, or at least close to it. And I just got 50,000 points, which unlocked that transform engine. And there you go. Now, another thing with wall combos is that wall jumping is the fastest form of movement in the game, as you can kind of see there, while wall riding is among the slowest. So, during wall combos, it is recommended that you minimize wall riding and maximize wall jumping, since that does make it a lot faster. And now this next area here is also pretty much all wall combos. Make sure to avoid the lampposts and also the other random physics objects jutting out, because those usually do end your combo. Very unfortunate when that does happen. But alright, I got 75,000 points, which is enough to unlock the level's exit. So I'm just going to go down here. Gonna jump into this little river of ink here, which will allow me to lock onto this water fountain here, called a hydrant. Locking on is also a very fast form of movement in the game, so it is recommended to do it as much as possible. Alright, so I got below 2 minutes, that's a very good run. Now on to the next level. Now Uptown is more of a real level. The first level, Last Resort, was more of a tutorial than anything, but this level is the real deal. Uptown introduces enemies to the game. These enemies are called Inkies. There are several variants throughout the game, although this level only has a default variant. You can combo them by slamming them in rapid succession. So, coming down here, we are going to set up a mission here, requiring me to paint that group of buildings blue and the group of buildings next to it purple, which we are going to do later. And we are going to talk to this character, Zip, who will tell me to race down these marker flares before the timer runs out. But we're going to take a quick detour, and we're going to paint this group of buildings purple for the mission that I was telling you about. But we are also going to incorporate some more colors into it, and you might wonder why I'm doing that, since the group of buildings needs to be all purple. Well, that's because when you finish a group of buildings, when you finish painting them, you get a point bonus, which increases the more colors you incorporate into the building group. And we're also finishing a mission here where we color those buildings yellow, do a little wall combo there. Alright, and then just do that, and there you go. Alright, so I just did a ton of missions here, and I'm still not done. I still have to paint that group of buildings all purple. So I'm gonna quick go down here, make myself purple, and quick go to this area, and just quick go over here, and then talk to Artie, who will tell me that I already completed her mission. And there you go. Now these are called gradients. Now they spawn out of a building group that you completed. You can combo them in rapid succession by just running into them, and you can get a ton of points if multiple gradient groups spawn close to each other, because then you can combo all of them in one go, making for a massive multiplier. But now going on to here, we're going to do another mission where I'm supposed to paint this group of buildings as well as the group of buildings next to it green. Now we're going to save one specific building for last in this group because gradients spawn out of the building with a door that's closest to the last building you painted. So I'm going to want to paint this building last so that the gradients spawn out of this door instead of the other doors that are in that building group, so that they spawn right next to these other gradient groups so that I can go combo them all in one go. Alright, so there you go. That's that. Now I'm going to slam this transform engine, which unlocked at 75k. And then I'm going to finish off this area of the level with a wall combo. And just go here. I'm going to hopefully get about 95k here. Alright, so luckily I did a little bounce up there, which retained my combo. The community still doesn't know how that works. I think it's like a frame perfect thing, but it did work. And also you might notice that little point bonus that came up when I painted that green building yellow. That's called a repaint. So when you finish painting a group of buildings, if you go back to that group and paint a building a different color than what it was previously, you will get a point bonus which increases the more buildings are in the group. So we're going to just go down this bridge, go to the left, which bypasses a few dialogue triggers that happen automatically otherwise. And then we just do some wall jumps down this bridge. And then we go do a quick wall combo down this avenue here. Alright. And then do some more wall combos here. Alright, nice stuff, man. That was great. Okay. So now, on to this last mission here on this level. So we're going to have to do some really good wall combos here. Wall combos in this area really make or break Uptown. You can get a ton of points by just getting a good wall combo in this area. And you can also ruin your run by not getting enough. So it's just very important that you get a good wall combo here, which I think I have done. I think that was good enough. Alright, yeah, that's more than enough. I got 140,000 points. Alright. So there you go. And that's the end of the level. These things are called leech bots. What they do is they latch onto you, and they basically siphon your paint points until you die. Paint points are also in the bottom right corner of the screen. You might see them there. Alright, so that was a good Uptown run. And now on to Downtown. Now this level is significantly longer than the other two levels that I just did. It used to be one of the longest levels in the game, but recent optimizations have whittled that time down quite a bit. So now we're just going to go down here, but we're going to go up here, and Artie will tell us to paint these billboards on the sides of the freeway here. Now we're also going to be doing a bunch of wall combos here. She wants us to take the monorail, but we're not going to do that. We are instead going to focus on doing a bunch of wall combos. And a good wall combo coming out of this mission will give you about 20,000 points or more. It's usually good to have at least 22,000 coming out of here. Now, this level introduces a new enemy variety called Heavy Inkies. They are very dangerous. Now they have large guns that can shoot you and ink you. Now, I didn't really explain how inking works. So inking, basically when you get inked, your paint points decrease, and when you reach 0, you die. And that's not good, obviously. And also, your movement speed and jump height are negatively affected, so intentional damage isn't really something that we do. The only benefit to getting inked is that you can lock onto hydrants, and that's not really used outside of Last Resort at the very end. So now we are doing some missions here. We are paying those billboards, which already want us to do, and we are slamming those inkies, which the orange guy, Biff, wants us to do. So we're going to go back up here, talk to Artie. Mission's already complete. Talk to Biff. Mission's already complete. And then we are going to finish off this last building group with some red. Also, try for a good wall combo here. Not really necessary, but a little boom nonetheless. Free these gradients and get some repaints while we're at it. And now we go on to the next area. Alright, so the next area has something called a 7 color, which is exactly how it sounds. It is when you paint a group of buildings all 7 colors that you can turn into. Which is red, yellow, blue, orange, green, purple, and brown. So we are going to do that right now. We're going to start off by painting this building brown. We'll do a little wall combo here to increase our points. And incorporate some blue into it. Purple. Talk to Artie. We're not going to do our mission yet. We're just going to make it so that we don't have to go back up to that building in order to trigger the mission. Red and orange. Yellow. And the last color, green. And also do another wall combo here. Alright, that was pretty good. Ignore those gradients, we don't need them. And now we just go up here and paint these billboards, which is the Artie mission that we had triggered a while back. Alright. Now on to the next area. Now we're going to do another quite larger Artie mission that involves us painting all these buildings red. So we're just going to do that here. Now, another thing about wall combos is that this game's collision detection is very precise. You know, a lot of buildings are either jutting out or they're sinking in, and you can get very tripped up that way because the game's collision detection just really likes to be very precise, and all that stuff is accounted for in it. So now we slam these heavy inkies, which is a Biff mission that we also have to do. And then we free these gradients for a massive combo. And now we talk to both Artie and Biff. And there you go. That's it. And now we make ourselves blue, and we do a few repaints here. So if you keep your colors simple, then you can do multiple repaints. And by keeping colors simple, I mean if you just incorporate like 1 or 2 colors into your building groups, and you can do multiple repaints. That does come in handy for a few parts of the any % run, but not really much. Sometimes it's good to do a multicolor, and sometimes it's good to do a 1 or 2 color with multiple repaints. It really just depends. Anyway, coming on to the next area, there is something called a prof mission. Now, these are very interesting. So, basically, the Wii version is slower than the PC and current-gen versions in pretty much every way, in both real-time and in-game time. However, it is faster at one thing exactly, and that is the prof mission. So, how these work is Blob enters a building and transforms it. So to do that, you need to fill up a meter. In the Wii original, you did this by shaking the Wii remote and nunchuck. However, in the current gen versions and PC versions, that is replaced with mashing the jump button. So this is pretty slow. So they are pretty slow on the current gen versions. However, they are not slow enough to negate the optimizations over the Wii version in other areas. But in the PC version, you can speed it up a bit by mashing both the spacebar and the gamepad button at the same time. So I also mash the spacebar with 2 fingers, and I have a mechanical keyboard, so get ready for that nice tappy goodness here. Alright, so I have 71 purple paint points. I need 50 purple paint points in order to transform this water pump. So I need to transform this water pump in order to make it so that I can get to the next area of the level and drain that pool there. So I can just go down and go onto this Z jump, named after the nunchuck's Z button. Doesn't really fit in the current gen versions, but left trigger jump doesn't really have the same ring as Z jump does, I'm assuming. Anyway, that's it. Just do a wall combo and that's that. So that was a pretty good downtown run. Let's see what I got here. Alright, 518. That is extremely good. Alright, so now on to the next level. Chroma Dam. Now this level is very interesting. So, back when the Wii version was new, Mike89 did some IL routes of the first 4 levels of the game. These IL runs were very important when it came to me coming in and routing the PC version, seeing as the game was basically dead before I hopped on the scene. And out of all of his routes and his IO runs, his Chroma Dam route had stood the longest. We could not figure out a way to finish this level faster than him. However, that had changed because a former runner of the game, Waylon Wilt, had discovered a skip that takes out quite a decent portion of the level, which ended up making it quite a lot faster. So we have recently shaved off about, like, pretty much a minute off of Mike's IL using this route. And it's been very, very good. So now we are going to just go and set up a multicolor here. As you can see, those buildings which were behind that barrier, those were part of it. I painted those orange. Now we're doing blue, green, some brown, and some red. And we're going to ignore those gradients. And we are going to do these inkies here. And there you go. Alright. Whoops. Okay, so just gonna try and avoid this heavy inky here. We have to be green for this area. We're not really supposed to be brown there. Alright. So as far as points go, we are a tiny bit under, but that's fine. I think okay, yeah, I missed a building there. Alright. Alright, so now I have 60,000 points, which allowed me to unlock a transform engine. We're going to get to that in a bit. We're going to finish these building groups first. Incorporate some green there. Do a little repaint there. That is not where those gradients are supposed to spawn out. They were supposed to spawn out of the last building, but since I kind of messed up the group there, they spawned out of a different building. But we still have a decent amount of points here. Coming on to the next area. You know, this is the area with the skip in it, but we're not going to do that until later. We are instead going to Now, I am a bit short on points, so I am going to just, like, do a little wall combo here. Alright. Just going to do that. And now we are going down to Prof here. Also, that thing I just slammed, that is a giant paint bot. That gives you 30 paint points in whatever color the paint bot is. And that's really all there is to it. Anyway, that was a Prof mission. He wants me to transform that monument with 50 yellow paint points and another monument with 30 green. So we're going to do that right here. Alright. So that was pretty good. Alright. And that's that. Okay, so before I get into this next section, I need about 110,000 points, which unlocks the transform engine in this area. Now, this area is called the Plaza. It's a very interesting area. First, a new enemy is introduced called the Inky Tank. You have to be completely maxed out on paint points in order to slam it in one hit. It doesn't give you any points, but it is necessary to neutralize before going on to this next section. Because when enemies with projectiles, like, say, heavy Inkies or similar enemies, shoot buildings with their ink projectiles, then it makes it so that those buildings lose their color. So I have to paint these buildings orange, and if that Inky Tank was there, then it would very much ruin a lot of things. Alright. So now I'm currently doing these two missions here. I'm doing one mission where I paint the tall buildings orange, and then the mission that comes after this is where Artie will want me to paint the shorter buildings purple. So I'm going to do that right after this. So just going to go here. And then make myself purple. Do a little wall combo here. Yeah, that was good. Alright. And just go here. Alright, so you know how I was talking about multiple repaints in back in downtown? Well, that is a huge part of this next section here. So I need to just paint these areas of the building, paint these groups. Like, all the colors I didn't paint them, pretty much every color except for purple and orange. So I'm doing that right now. These repaints give you a massive amount of points each. One group gives you 4,500 points, the other group gives you 2,300. And I just did them right then. So now I can do the skip. And I kind of messed it up there, sadly. Alright. But luckily, that's not the case now. Got it. Alright, that was pretty good. Alright, so now I have enough points to unlock the end of the level. I'm going to just jump onto these... Just gotta jump onto the pump here. Alright, so that was pretty good. So now the last thing I have to do is get up on this dam. Now there are a ton of pumps here that will push you right off the dam and back to the bottom, which is a massive time loss, as you could probably expect. Pretty linear area here. Not really much experimentation. Just have to avoid the pumps. Pretty good cycle. Alright. And that was that. That was pretty good. So now, onto the next area, Guggentra's Island. Now this area is pretty interesting. It used to be the Blob community's most hated level because of... Like, the old route had a ton of enemy spam. Like, you were just in the way of just a ton of enemies, and this level, in general, just has a ton of enemy spam, but pretty much all of that has been routed out. So, Zip will just force you into doing this mission here, but we are not going to do it. Or at least we're not going to do the whole thing. We are instead going to take a detour Although I have to make myself blue for this area, so I have to quick get up here. Alright. So anyway, yeah. So we're going to make ourselves blue. And we're going to have to get out of this zip mission somehow, but if you try and quit the mission via the pause menu, the game will not let you. And if you die or the timer runs out during said mission, then you will just respawn back at the beginning of the level. So how do you do it? You just try to accept another mission as you are doing it. So you might have noticed that building was colored some weird color, despite me never touching it. That is a bug that is in all versions of the game. We call it the wrong color bug. It's very useful because it is essentially just a free multicolor bonus. Anyway, we're going to paint this area here 5 colors. So you might wonder how all the enemy spam was routed out of this level. Well, that's because there was a mission that used to be part of the route that, after it was done, it spawned a whole ton of enemies. However, that mission has since been routed out, so we basically don't have to deal with it anymore. And there we go, we quit the zip mission, now we're doing this Biff mission here. Wants us to slam these Inkies. And then we slam this transform engine, which doesn't give us a lot of points. However, in this level, it is pretty common to come up short on points, so really, you have to take whatever you can get. And then we just free these gradients here for the same reason. And there you go. Now we are on to the next area. Now that enemy right there, they might see that, like, cannon there. That's called an Inky turret. Like Inky tanks, they don't give you any points upon defeating them, but they only require 50 pain points to defeat. They pretty much, they do not get in your way at all during this route. Now, this thing right here is called a, I think the official name is called something called a color tank, but the community calls it a rainbow tank. And what happens is it makes you invincible, and it also puts you at max paint points. It gives you a ton of other benefits as well. You are automatically the right color for any arty mission that you do, for one thing. And it's just like, and you're also the right color for any prof mission that you do. So so Artie wants me to paint this monorail here. Just gonna do that, and then we're gonna go up here. Okay. And then we're gonna just quick go here, and then do a little gate skip. Alright, so we have about 100k, which isn't great. We're gonna have to do a little wall combo here and get some more rainbow power. Yeah, you are invincible for pretty much the majority of this level, which is another reason why a lot of the enemy spam is pretty much a non-issue in the current route. So we are just going to go down here, do the prof mission. And then we are going to use our rainbow power in order to do a multicolor in this big old block here. And since we're short on points, we're going to also make sure to do a few little wall combos. Alright. Now, that was essentially an auto-scroller, because before this next mission starts, you do basically have to wait before your rainbow power to run out, because you do not have enough time to do the arty mission with your rainbow power. So now we just go down here. Oh, that's not good. Oops. That's never happened before. Anyway. So now we just go down here and we paint that monorail station red, then we go to this other cannon here, and we paint this other monorail station red, and that's it. Alright. I'm gonna see if that's enough. Alright, that's enough. Now, as this bronze medal notification disappears, the gate will unlock and the gate unlocking cutscene will play, but the monorail will still run, so you're going to have to just jump out and lock onto it. You can skip the monorail entirely, but it's extremely difficult and not recommended during a full run. Anyway, that's it. That's a pretty short level. A lot shorter than Chromodam and Downtown. So yeah. This next level, however, is pretty long. This is the Docklands. Now, a lot of runners of this game hate this level because it's very long, very boring, and you can lose an IL to a bunch of really ridiculous mistakes that are just very easy to come across. Now, these are called Elite Inkies. They cost 4 paint points in order to slam. They are color-coded. You have to be the correct color in order to do any damage to them. Anyway, we are setting up a 7-color bonus here with this ship. The 7-color bonus gives you a ton of points. It gives you about 27,000 points, which is a lot compared to pretty much every other color bonus in this game. And we are just doing it as optimally as possible here. This specific 7-color route had lasted for pretty long. I routed it this way back when I was like the only active runner of this game, and it has since survived throughout several reroutes and everything. It's been very, very resilient in that respect. So anyway, we have to do this prof mission in order to finish off the 7-color. And then we just go here. And that's that. That's 27,000 points right there. And then we do a repaint right after this. We just repaint that one. We just repaint a crate here, which gives us 5,300 points. So we're not done yet. We now have to just do this Artie mission here. She wants us to paint all these crates orange. So just do that here. Alright. And then we're going to make ourselves brown for the next area. And I'll tell you why. So, the next thing we're going to do here is an Artie mission. She wants us to paint these crates every single color besides brown. However, we want a 7-color bonus, which this group in particular gives you about 25,000 points. So we're going to need that 7-color bonus. And we do that by painting that little crate at the end brown. And then after we finish painting all the other crates, we just paint that crate yellow last. Alright, so now we just go down here. And then we make ourselves orange. Alright, so that's that. And now we make ourselves orange in order to set up another mission later on. So we're going to talk to Zip here. Well, he's going to want us to go up to that ship on the left, but we are not going to do that just yet. We are instead going to take the ship and paint some of these things orange. So we have to paint everything on the ship orange for one mission. However, we are just going to paint... However, before we do that mission, we're just going to paint the lower row of the objects orange, and then we're going to set up a multicolor as well, and also just make sure that the Inky turret didn't really hit anything, and it didn't. Alright, so now we are just going up here, and we are going to do this prof mission. He wants us to put 50 red paint points into the ship. And after we do that, we are going to go and paint the ship all 6 other colors besides red. So we're just going to do another 7-color here. And we're first going to just wall jump off of here, and do a little wall jump here. Make ourselves orange, orange, yellow. Paint these crates yellow. Green. Paint these crates green. Make ourselves brown. Paint these crates brown. That blue paint bot just respawned, so make these blue. And then purple. That's it. Alright. So now we are going to go and do this prof mission, which is in the ship that we colored the lower row orange of. So I'm just going to go down here, and we're going to go up here, purple, brown, red, orange, transform. Alright. And then after this, Artie will spawn right next to me telling me to paint the rest of the ship orange, so we are going to do just that. But sadly, we have sort of missed this little crate here, so we're going to quick do that. And now we are going to just paint the rest of these little silos here. And that'll be it. Oops, I messed up a bit there. Okay, just go up here. Alright, that's good. Alright, so that's that. Now we are going on to the next area, but the next area is an area that we are going to just skip entirely. So we're going to unlock it, and then we are going to just wall jump right past it onto this Z jump here, which will put me on the path to the next area. The next area, which is a very simple one. Basically, just slam this rainbow tank, and you color pretty much all the large groups of buildings in this next area with your rainbow power. You can just do that. And, okay, incorporate a few wall combos into it as well. You need about 290k in order to unlock the end of the level in here. And just do that. Okay, that was decent. So now we just go here. And there you go. I think that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. Alright. So that was pretty good. So just go down here. And there you go. That was Docklands. Alright, so the next level is called Hanging Gardens. Now, this level is also very interesting because pretty much everything in the route has to do with the first section of the level. Every other section is almost completely ignored, save for a few missions, save for like one mission at the very end. So now we just have to make ourselves... Just going to fill ourselves up with paint points here. Ignore these inkies, they are not necessary at all. Ooh, kind of messed it up there. Luckily I saved it. Alright. So now, Prof will want me to transform a water pump, take the Z jumps in order to get that water pump. And then we go down here, and as the place drains out, a rainbow tank is going to spawn. But as it's coming over to us, we're just gonna go mess around here, get a few group bonuses, a few tiny ones, get the 1,000-point bonus, which, yeah, 1,000-point bonuses, you get them and they give you 1,000 points automatically. They're not really used in a lot of these routes because they are usually pretty out of the way. Alright. Okay, so that's that. And now we are just doing this area here. And once again, we are ending this area on these crates so that the gradients spawn out the doors that we wanted. For some reason in this group, 2 gradient groups spawn out of it. Don't know why that is, but it gives you a ton of points. And we're also just doing 3 groups here, and now we are going to go up here, talk to Biff, who wants to slam some Inkies. Alright. So now we are going to go into this next area called the Abyss. Now this area is pretty, it isn't great, let's just say that. So, in this game, RNG has barely any input into how runs play out. There are barely any instances where RNG can really affect your run, apart from this one specific mission down here. So, Biff will want you to slam into these elite Inkies. However, if they are in a certain spot, then the collision detection will trip up, and you will just hit a bunch of trees, which can just fling you off into some random direction, and usually will make you go either into the ink or into some water, which will force you to have to, like, recolor yourself. And the paint bots are very far away, so having to recolor yourself is quite the time loss. But luckily, that mission went perfectly, so that wasn't an issue. Anyway. The rest of this is not really a huge issue. It's just that specific mission. And now you are going to have to defeat these heavy Inkies. Very simple here. Straight line. That's it. Although the lock-on system in this game can be a bit finicky, because it is based off of a combination of the camera's position and Blob's position. I think Blob's position determines what enemies can be locked onto. It just gives you everything that's just close to you. And the camera's position determines what the game locks onto first. And this game's camera is pretty unpredictable, so as a result, the lock-on system can be unpredictable. Though you can alleviate this somewhat with some camera manipulation. Anyway, let's get on to the prof mission here. You'll want us to transform this water pump. Give us 50 purple paint points. And that is Area 1 completed. So, as I have told you before, Area 2, the other areas just have barely any input into this level. Now, here's the thing. This is pretty much, there are 2 skips in this level, and the first skip skips this entire area. So this entire area is completely ignored. Aside from the part where it's the, from the fact that it's where the end of the level is located, which I will get to shortly. So we're just going to do a few wall combos. Not really needed, but it does give you a few extra points. So it's nice to go for anyway. And now we're just going to go all the way along this edge here. until we come across a rainbow tank that is right on the other side of the gate. So there's an invisible wall here, but the lock-on system overrides that, and we just lock onto the rainbow tank through the invisible wall. And there you go. So now we are in the final area. And we are just going to do this Biff mission, try and get all these enemies in one combo, because it gives you more points. And there you go. Save the heavy inkies for last because those give you 100 points, which means that they are good for a ×8 combo. And we are also going to do some wall combos here, as well as a group bonus with our rainbow power. Okay. That's good. That's very good. Alright. So we are a bit under here, but we can alleviate that. And we just have to get... Okay, now we have enough. Alright, so coming up here is a little level skip. So basically, the way we are supposed to beat this level is by sliding down a tube into the level's exit, but that's very slow, so we're going to try and hop on this pipe here. Let's see if I can get it. Got it. Somehow. Wow, that was something else. Wow, thought I wasn't going to get that. That was very lucky. Anyway. Yeah. Might have been a bit tough to realize what I was doing there because of the camera, but yeah, that was very interesting. Anyway, on to Chroma City Fun Park. So this level, like Hanging Gardens, basically all of it is done in the first area. Unlike Hanging Gardens, there aren't any skips. So we're just going to do the zip mission here. Make sure we have more than 44 paint points coming out of here. So I have 45, that's pretty good. And slam onto that paint bot, which will automatically respawn after I talk to Biff here. Now, I'll tell you why I needed more than 44 paint points here, because this next area has a Biff mission with 1 blue elite inky and 1 red elite inky. So, if I have exactly 4 paint points, then the blue inky... That was close. The blue inky will just deplete all my paint points, and then I will just be able to make myself red instead of messing around with stuff like hydrants and things like that. Anyway. So what I did there, as I locked onto that blue paint bot there, I also got the rainbow tank to color me red, which gave me a few more paint points, which allowed me to do group bonuses as well as wall combos for both of those building groups without having to refill. Anyway, kind of messed up there. On to this next mission. So this is an arty mission. She wants us to color these cell blocks, a combination of red and yellow. So I'm going to start off by coloring them yellow. And then I'm going to make myself red afterwards, and I'm going to go back and color the other buildings red. So I colored everything yellow. Now for the red. Alright. And then we just get all those gradients here, and then we make ourselves orange for something coming up here. So there's an arty mission coming up. There are these gradients that are just laying outside there. She's going to want us to free them. Before we do that, we are going to color this building group. And after we do that, some gradients are going to spawn out of said building group, and we can get And we can combo those gradients and incorporate them into this gradient combo, giving us a ton of points. And now we do this prof mission. So we're just going to get this 1,000-point bonus here, and then we're going to just color that one building purple, which serves a purpose I can explain later. And then we do that prof mission. And now we are not going to progress further into the level. We are instead going to go back and slam into that rainbow tank that was in the first area, which is going to be used for a few missions coming up here. So first we make ourselves nice and big. That is pretty needed for later on. Alright. We're good here. And we are just going to color these rafters any color that we want. And since we have a rainbow power, we can get just massive points in that mission. Free a few gradients because you do come up pretty short on points in this area a lot. And now we just do this arty mission using our rainbow power. So she wants us to paint these buildings every color besides brown, which is why we colored those buildings at the end brown. And I am doing something called an edge slide here, which gives you a ton of points. Because basically it is a wall combo, except you are stuck on the top corner, which means that you do not decrease in height at all, but it still counts as a wall combo. It's very difficult to do, and you have to be pretty precise through it, but it is very nice when it does happen. It gives you a ton of points, at least in that area. It's not really useful in any other area, sadly. Alright. So now we finished that zip mission, which was just 2 marker flares over a fence. We were supposed to go around the wall, but we went through it instead. Alright, so now Prof is going to want us to transform the cell block using 100 paint points. So we're just going to do that here. Alright. Could have been a bit faster with that mashing, but that'll do. Alright. So I'm coming up here. Leech bot. Just going to slam it there. No problem at all. And then we just ignore this area entirely and go right down to the next area. So let's just do that. Wall jump here and lock onto that paint bot. Alright. And we go down here, and then we just paint these billboards for a few extra points to give you 500 points each, and they cannot be comboed. Not really that useful in the grand scheme of things, but they are good for a few extra points if you need them. And once again, you do come up pretty short on points throughout this area, so it's good to just have them. Alright. So there we go. Okay, so now we're going to do this final mission here, make ourselves rainbow, and do this arty mission. Combination of purple and red. The wrong color bug is thankfully in effect, so we're just going to rely on it for our points, and it'll give us a nice multicolor. Alright, and we just did a few repaints in that area to finally get us up to 210k, which was the goal for the level's exit. And there you go. That's it. That's Chroma City Fun Park. Alright. Now on to Ministry of Ink. This is the last true level of the game. The final level is the one after this, but that one's pretty linear. This is the last actual level of the game. So now we just go down here. And we just talked to Biff here. He will want us to slam into 4 inky turrets, but we're not going to... But we're going to just sort of take our sweet little time on that, and we are instead going to dedicate ourselves to painting all these buildings here using, mostly, our rainbow power. Oops. Alright, so now go here. Okay, so now go here. Alright, so now... Alright, so you have to really make sure how much rainbow time we have left. If you don't have enough, then you can lose quite a few points due to not incorporating as many colors into your multicolor bonuses, which sadly I did there. So since we didn't really incorporate a lot of colors into that, I'm going to just save one building there for last and just incorporate some purple into that area. Make yourself orange here. Avoid these elite inkies. Alright, there you go. Okay. Alright, now go down here, do a repaint, free the gradients. Gradients are pretty important in this part of the level. If you don't free basically all of them, then you will not have enough points for the end of the level. Oh, I forgot the gradients here, which isn't good because, yeah, I was supposed to get those in the same combo as that other gradient group. Alright, well, still decent enough, I guess. So I'm just going to make myself a few more colors here. Whoops. Alright, so I came out of here with about 122k. Or actually more like about 124k. That's a decent enough point. That's a decent enough amount of points, so... Next up here, we have something called the Mega Reactor. Now, the Mega Reactor is just a huge, massive mission that is completely necessary here. You cannot skip it. It's also a pretty linear mission. There's not really much room for experimentation. However, there are a few things that you can do to shorten the time a bit. So we're just going to go on this cannon here. Alright. And then make ourselves green. We got 50 green paint points here. Alright, so now we just go here. And now we have to get 50 blue paint points. Alright. And now we need 50 yellow paint points. Just wall jump off of this thing here. Ooh, that was close. That would have been very bad. Alright, so now with all those water pumps transformed, we now have to paint these hexagons. So, you have to paint these in a very specific pattern. If you deviate from the route in any way, or if you get inked, or you fall in the water, then that is a gigantic time loss, because you're going to have to go back and repaint the hexagons that And you have to go back and repaint all the hexagons that you didn't paint. And on the way there, you will end up painting other hexagons the wrong colors. So you're going to have to be very, very careful not to make any mistakes here. Alright. And just go here. Go here. Alright. Now we have these ink pits here. Be very careful not to fall into those ink pits because the physics on them are kind of broken. For some reason, if you fall into them, they do not function like a regular ink pit would. They don't have water physics, you instead sink right to the bottom. And you basically can't get out unless you die. So be very careful not to get in them. Luckily, they're very easy to avoid. And I personally haven't really fallen into them. So now, onto this next area. Now there are going to be a bunch of inky tanks here. We're going to just ignore them all. Paint these billboards to give us a few extra points. And slam these inkies. You get just all these inky groups that give you massive amounts of points here. Just be sure not to... Be sure you have 30 paint points for this prof mission here, and I have 40. Alright. So that's the only mission that you have to do in this area, so now we're on to the next area. Alright. So, this next area, we're just going to slam all these inkies. Although we are short on points, so we might have to do this, the green prof mission as well. Actually, let's see. Okay, no we don't, actually. We have enough to just wall ride across this thing here. Do not go down that bridge, because it falls out from under you, and you get stuck in a pit for a certain amount of time that you cannot shorten in any way. So you have to wall ride. Alongside it instead. So that's that. That is Ministry of Ink, and a pretty good run, if I do say so myself. Now onto the final level, Lake Radia. Now once again, this level is very short and linear. However, it does have the final boss, Comrade Black, at the end of it, which technically makes it the longest level of the game. But we don't really count it as the longest level, since it's different from all the other levels in the game. So, a blimp is about to fly past here. That blimp blocks our way. However, during dialogue, the in-game timer is paused, so we just pause the in-game timer and let that blimp fly by. And since runs are based off of IGT, there's no time lost to that. Alright. So now we're just going to do every single mission in this level. First we're going to do this prof mission. Wants us to get 50 brown paint points. And then go here. Make ourselves brown. Alright. So we're just going to do all the missions down here before we board the ship. Now, once we board the ship, you cannot backtrack, unlike the rest of the game where you can backtrack. And that does allow for And that means you have to make it so that you get as many points as you can in this area, or at least as many points that are optimal. And there aren't really many opportunities for points once you do board the ship, so you're gonna have to be, you're gonna have to just make sure that you get as many points as possible down here, and that involves completing every mission. Alright. So now we are just going to paint these silos. These are part of a group, and we're just doing this little zigzag maneuver to avoid the pump cycle while locking onto these buttons here. And that was a group bonus. Gave me about 1,200 points there. Now we have to do this prof mission. We're going to get a, make ourselves rainbow here. Paint that billboard for some extra points. Alright. So now, on the final mission, we are going to talk to Artie. She will want us to free some gradients that are in the bottom of the ship. Now, while entering this hole, the camera angle can get a bit messed up here, but luckily it didn't give us much trouble there. But yeah, the camera angle there can be very disorienting, but luckily that wasn't the case this time. Uh-oh, missed one. Alright, now I'm good. Okay. So now we have enough points. We're going to now just go right onto the ship here. Now, these are ships, you can lock onto these, but you shouldn't, because they are very glitchy. And you can get stuck on them for, like, and you can lose, like, up to a minute of time just from locking onto those ships and getting stuck on them. Anyway, here's the ship. And this ship is basically completely skipped. We first try to wall jump up this pipe. Gives us a nice angle. And then we go up here. Now you might wonder why those heavy inkies started, the multiplier for them started as ×4. That's because for some reason paint bots, they actually count as part of an inky multiplier. I'm not sure why that is, but it does help a lot when it comes, or at least in that area it does. So, yeah, I have 90,000, which is enough to unlock the final boss gate, and I am right at the end. Completely skipped. So, the final boss has 4 phases. Much like the Ministry of Ink Mega Reactor, it will spawn some hexagons, and you're going to have to paint them. And once you're done painting all hexagons in the phase, you then go to the giant mech that the final boss is in, and you just transform it by mashing, like a prof mission. Alright, so here's Comrade Black. So we cannot skip this cutscene, but that's okay because the in-game timer is paused during it. So, this mission can be a bit weird. I mean, this boss can be a bit weird. So, while Comrade Black is aiming at you, you have to make it so that you jump on the hexagons. Although, rubbing up against the side of the hexagons is better, but if you jump on the hexagons while he's aiming at you, it makes it so that he cannot hit the hexagons and ruin your work. So now on phase 2, now we just have to paint these hexagons a mixture of orange and purple. Now, as he is refilling his ink here, take that as an opportunity to just, like, move to the side. That'll make him desynced. Alright, he is quite desynced here. Alright, now he's throwing a temper tantrum. That's good. Alright, so that is very, very good. Now coming on phase 3, we are going to need to paint these hexagons orange, green, and purple. And while we're doing this, we also have to avoid these elite inkies, which are colored red, yellow, and blue. And yes, this camera angle is fixed, which can really mess you up. Because sometimes you get hidden behind the hexagons, which can be pretty bad. You can sort of alleviate this by manipulating the camera using either the analog stick or the Wii Remote D-pad. However, once you take your finger off the camera control, or your thumb, the camera snaps back into its fixed position, which can be very disorienting. Anyway, this is the final phase. So now we have to just paint these hexagons orange, green, purple, and brown. Alright, so Comrade Black is desynced here. Now we just have to make it so that he doesn't hit any of our hexagons, and he doesn't hit us either. Alright, so here we go. This is going to be it. Okay. Oops. Okay, yeah, Comrade Black just swiped me there. That's better than getting ink, but still not great. But yeah, that's the boss done. So we're just going to go and transform him here. And that's that, but time isn't going to come up yet. So after this final boss cutscene, after he's defeated, a transform engine is going to spawn, which triggers the ending cutscene. And once we slam that transform engine, that's when time happens. So, time. Alright, 1:13:02. That's pretty good, considering my estimate is 1:15. And that was the Blob. So yeah, I really do hope you consider this for the marathon. It is a very interesting speed game with unique movement for a platformer, and just very unique in general. It's been a childhood favorite of mine, and I do hope you consider it. Once again, if this is considered, then thank you to Waylon, Wilt, Timba, Oaknum, Mike89, and everyone involved in running and routing this game, or has been at one point. Thank you all so much. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Just going to see what time I got in Lake Radia. Alright, that was pretty good. So yeah, that was the Blob.